They're not aliens. They're robots. You're going to breathe tritium in the dust cloud and you'll be dead in 6 months. When I did the particles, the individual particles, I was telling him if the nucleus is the sun, the closest particle, and I drew the array, particle A be about the distance of Saturn. Particle B would be this. And he said from travel time and distance, it almost came out perfectly, to match the data. When I finally met him, I met him at the University of Virginia at a restaurant across the street. I was introduced to him by another physicist. I was surprised when he told me about all this stuff because I had no idea I was answering those guys' questions. I was just trying to map things.
Do you have opinions on other entities, other conscious entities?
Yeah, I do.
Physical ones like
I
Area
do.
51 or
Area 51 is
or different dimensions.
the reason for Area 51 being off limits is they detonated somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 plus underground explosions using nuclear. So if you walk through there, you're going to breathe tritium in the dust cloud and you'll be dead in 6 months. That's why they keep people out. It's a very dangerous place to be at. That's why the runway is so huge. The platform they build in there is so big. It's to cover it. You just pour concrete over it. That way you don't breathe it.
Yeah.
One good reason. Now, it might be that they use that very good reason to hide another reason. I don't know.
You've never asked out of body.
Not out of body, but I can tell you that from my remote viewing, I have been targeted on UFOs and UAPs and all that stuff numerous times. And there are entities on board a lot of these vehicles, but they're not aliens. They're robots. And I say that because people make an assumption that because something looks soft, acts soft, is soft, it must be a living entity. And to a certain extent, it may be. It's a robot. They just make their robots different the way we make them. The only way to, in my opinion, the only way to be here from another star is to 1 minute you're there, 1 minute you're here.
Wormhole.
Well, no vehicle to get to the worm. Jump. Boom. Now that might be done interdimensionally. I don't know if it has to be true because otherwise you're going to spend thousands of years going in any other way.
Yeah, it feels like
That's not practical.
It feels like there is some technological leap that has to happen, or else you can't just ride a horse 50,000 miles. To invent a rover that can drive 50,000 miles, right? There
has to be some other way.
You can't just fly faster. That
No, I
be the answer.
I think the ones that are possibly here, maybe they can't come themselves, but they could send a programmable. And it kind of makes sense if you start looking at the Greys and the way everybody talks about the Greys. They literally have no mouth, very tiny nose, which seem to be operable. They're wrapped up in the same skin suit that all the others are. So I think they're robots. That's just my feeling. And they do one job, and they don't care what you feel about it.
They're robot-like.
Yeah, they're acting robot-like.
Like programs.
So, however, having said that, I did one target one time that I'm pretty sure had an alien. And the reason I say that is because I was cut off immediately. I got the briefest glimpse of like part of an arm, a hand, and then
He stopped you.
yeah, it stopped. I don't.
Oh, it stopped you.
Yeah,
From
I couldn't see anything else. All I got.
It wasn't the person who you were telling it to that stopped you. It was the being that stopped seeing.
So there are such things as psychic defenses, and he must have had psychic.
Well, I wouldn't go. How do we know it's a psychic defense?
Right.
Maybe it's just a
Natural phenomenon.
dimensional. We don't know, but I can tell you what I got was kind of interesting. Remember the old peace sign, the line down, and then the line above, war demonstrate. Well, that's what I got after it was cut off. That's all I ever got targeting that vehicle. What does that represent? My first thought was, oh, that's the old peace sign. That didn't feel right. I kept thinking about it. And over time, I've come to the conclusion it has nothing to do with peace. You know what it is? It took 6 months to figure it out. It's the inside and outside of an empty box, corner of an empty box. And when I came to that conclusion, I know that it's probably right because I started seeing 3 blocks. Cubes, multi-sided cubes, all perfect cubes, 3 in different arrays, act this way, that way, all different configurations. I worked on that maybe a year and came up with this concept that suddenly I remembered from when I was a baby. remember the 3 blocks she got as a kid, A, B, C, D, what I think those are. Since I agreed in my head that that's what they were, I started getting them with symbols on them. Getting symbols now, which don't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably going to take 10 years, 20 years to figure that out. But I think it's a form of communication.